declares a best path for the World Defense Organization is offensive. France rejects this, saying the goal is to defend democracies, not start wars. A heated dispute engages. All members must vote on it, and it goes 12 to 44. 12 nations supporting the expansionists. The nations against it rally for a domination, declaring they are stronger and can force the others, stating those fools won't know what they are doing. The other side states, isn't offensive war unjust? And you can't just invade your allies. Well, the USA just shushes them, and, well, they decide war is now. With 12 nations ready for war, war erupts. The USA, Mexico, as USA attacks Mexico. Well, please subscribe and let's get into it. The World Trade Organization to follow their lead, or will they fail? Well, an offensive in the northern Mexico begins. From California, Arizona, and Texas, they march into Mexico, with Baja California quickly falling as they start seizing northern Mexico. At the same time, they seize these Caribbean nations. And, wait, that's their land. Yeah. And while they also, while fighting on this front, land in this part of Mexico. With quickly, they manage to capture this area of Mexico. The advances do thus slow down. Well, let's go to Guyana. Well, America takes more stuff than American in South America. And while Brazil and America advances into Guyana, French Guiana, and Suriname, quickly capturing the capitals of these nations. And well, they rapidly seize it. And also against Colombia, Brazil starts its offensive, headed towards Bogota as the Americans attack slightly in the north. Then let's go down. Well, Bolivia, you're going to have fun with your two capitals, Sucre and La Paz, collapsing to Brazil. And then thus they march towards Paraguay, quickly seizing Paraguay's capital. Yeah. As they move into Lima to quickly seize Peru's capital. At this point, they march into Uruguay. I didn't put Uruguay's capital on the map? That's crazy. Well, they quickly seize it, and this is what the front becomes as. One united front. And it's a pretty big front. But America and Brazil are leading this front. And well, let's go to the next front, which is the European front. And let's see what happened. Well, the Finnish and Russian forces rapidly advance into northern Norway. Germany rapidly advances into Denmark, quickly seizing it, taking the opportunity to advance across the Benelux region. And while they force their way through Austria, eventually forcing Austria to let them through. And while they move in, as they quickly take Ljubljana and they take Venice, as they move in to see Zagreb, and from the south we see Greece grab Trina, quickly taking Albania, and Kosovo taking Kosovo's capital out, and now they move in, quickly taking over Macedonia, advancing north, taking Sarajevo from Bosnia and Herzegovina, quickly collapsing this area into the front, and with the American and Australian forces landing in southern Oman, and Canadian forces quickly take it out, as they quickly advance, taking the capital of Oman, maybe, and then they move up north, and they take different cities in the UAE, and then they move in to take Doha from Qatar, completely collapsing this, and they take their land across from it, that they annexed in their war against the East when the Beijing Pact existed, seizing it to them, and quickly moving in and taking out Kuwait, now into the North American front. A landing happens over here, which is quickly used to push towards Mexico City. No surrender yet by Mexico. But Mexico, I think you should. You have no coast, as Mexico loses most of its north, basically just existing. As they finally manage to take Belize's capital and move into Guatemala City and then into El Salvador, they finally leave Mexico to surrender. And Mexico surrenders. Thus, they land in around Panama City, quickly moving up into Costa Rica. Then they move down into Colombia and Brazil's front towards Bogota becomes a success, with them and the Americans advancing towards each other. A big pocket is made and it becomes an encirclement, but most of the forces in it manage to get out before the encirclement. So it's probably a lot of troops, but not as much as it would have been if they did it faster. But now against Argentina, Brazil is now into Argentina's capital and starts advancing across northern Argentina, breaking through in Bolivia and advancing straight to Santiago, seizing it. And then they managed to move into Argentina and do some stuff in Argentina and seize some more stuff in Argentina. And then they managed to collapse Argentina, thus collapsing them. Then this pocket collapses, this pocket of resistance. As you can see, quickly the fall of South America begins. Well, let's go to Europe. I hope they have fun. And let's invade Greenland. Yeah. With them invading Greenland, mostly Canadian forces, which takes it out. Now, everyone from that side of the world, including Canada, the United States, and Brazil, now all land in Iceland, as they also land in northern Norway. And also, they seized northern Russia. They never seized it, they already had it. As this Russia and managed to see the American invasion of Ireland, which quickly takes Dublin and then moves into Northern Ireland, taking Belfast. And then they come in from the north, landing into Scotland, quickly moving south near Edinburgh and Glasgow. As they move south towards Manchester, Birmingham, London, and then they quickly have most of it seized. At this point, they move up and they manage to seize Oslo as they quickly advance towards Stockholm. And then, right after, Sweden and Norway are forced into capitulation, as Portugal gets completely obliterated right quick. And then into Galicia, which got its freedom after the Beijing Pact and then went to war. But then they invaded northern France, and they started pushing towards, Paris, seizing Paris and northern France. But seeing this isn't going to surrender them, the Greeks land in southern Italy, quickly seizing it. And the Germans move in from the north. As the whole principle of this alliance is now violence, basically, as Genoa falls. And then Marseille. Then Barcelona falls and to the Pyrenees Mountains. Then we see Bordeaux fall, and at this point we see France cease to exist. And now let's see the peace treaty. And along with Finland got some expansion. Brazil and America took a lot of expansion, creating puppets across the New World. And while in Europe, the biggest changes are Greek gains, a puppet being created in Croatia and Bosnia and parts of northern Serbia. And while, as you can see, it then goes into the rest with some small areas. Well, Hungary, is the only free nation, with Ireland being united, but no longer itself. It's part of the authoritarian imperialist parts. But well, with a new order being established, the World Treaty Organization is no longer a human rights defender. A new ideology mirroring Soviet expansionism, Nazi expansionism, French imperialism, Arab imperialism, British imperialism. In no way does this care how many bombs it drops or how many it will kill. Well, let's go on to the peace treaty. Well, we already seen the peace treaty. So now to Asia with the Indian-led alliance deciding to invade the Caucasus, Yemen, and China and Myanmar to continue their path to Asian domination. As the World Treaty Organization is rebuilding, let's see the conflict. We can see them starting conflicts every which direction. Every single goal. Well, let's look at the Caucasus, the first area to fall, with a Turkish attack from one direction, from the north, the Siberian, each managing to successfully take it out. Saudi Arabia quickly succeeds in taking Yemen out. Now on this front, there's a few different fronts, with Siberia moving in from the north, with Siberia, Korea, and Japan managing to march into Beijing, quickly capitulating northern China. And while over here they take out more lands, with an Indian offensive into Tibet being a full-on success, advancing up north into Xinjiang from Tibet and into northern China. And between India and allies like Thailand, Vietnam, and them, they then managed to successfully take over Myanmar and the puppet of Yunnan. And then they take over northern China, and then they take over Xinjiang. So let's see the partition deciding to join with the new militaristic World Treaty Organization, because they believe they can get more lands out of it, which helps speed up a Cold War forming. Meanwhile, Africa, they just chill and watch as they're starting to unify and fix up their nations into a basically federation. And while the world order is in shambles between two imperialists who have only regard for power, not human life, not freedom, many humans will suffer, and resistance is seen as treason. This world is broken. Two power-hungry packs, but Africa is pitting both sides against each other to kick the neo-colonialists and colonialists out. No good, just pain and suffering in the name of power, and they must be using the God as their excuse. Interesting, always an excuse. Is power only used to create suffering for the bottom 80% and create glory for the top 20%? Answer this in the comments. And well, along with your thoughts and theories, well, if you enjoyed today's video, please like and subscribe and click the notification bell to not miss American Paranoia on Sunday and alternate future of the world on Thursday. Wild Mapper out.